I got my Vive Wireless system in yesterday, and I've been messing around with it. So I just cleared my floor a little by moving that and like moving my chair. Sorry about the autofocus not really doing its thing there. So I've got a lot of space now. I just stand in the corner and look out. My computer's over there. The only problem I have now is the Lighthouse 1.0 bases I'm using can't go further apart than this because they're already at like 6 meters. There's one up there and one up there. And I have the wireless set up right here. Go focus. There we go. It's aiming up because I found that if you aim it directly at yourself, you can actually block it really easily by looking straight up while looking in the direction it's at, because your face basically blocks it, your head. I've noticed that I should be able to go all the way out here with that lighthouse still seeing me. That one doesn't see me, so I have like sort of limited view of that, but yeah, I have a camera set up there, which is just my tablet over here, and that should give you like an overview in the recording I'm doing. Alright, let's switch to that recording right now. Alright, let's see if it'll cooperate here. Sorry about the FPS on the external video being a little iffy, because it's streaming the video from that camera over the network, so it'll be a little shaky probably with the frame rate. But overall, let's see, wait, where's my play space? There it is. So I've made my boundaries quite large here. This is 3.5 by 3.5 meters right now. I mean, I clearly have more, but it needs to be, like, if I look straight that way, it doesn't work because that lighthouse can see me, and that one's just not got a wide enough field of view for that. Sadly, I wanted to go like full 4-base setup with the Lighthouse 2.0, but I can't do that yet because I don't have 2.0 bases. At some point I will, which would give me full coverage of my entire living room, but yeah, I mean, so alright, as far as wireless goes, clearly it works with Knuckles. There was no issue with that at all. But I've noticed that it, like, if the game stresses your CPU a lot, it'll sort of pixelate the screen a little, which is kind of annoying, but it's not impossible to just work through. And if I, let's see, why is it pixelating so much right now? That's cool. If I look straight at that and look up, it sort of goes really pixely. I think it's extra pixely right now because I'm recording and encoding on the CPU. So it's sort of having to do double work. But the like latency on it is great. But you're clearly like sacrificing some image qualities stuff at some points. And climbing is actually not a great example for this, because you don't really have to jump around much. It's not a room scale game so much as it's just a standing game. You can rotate around without destroying your cable, which is nice. But I don't really notice that extra space right now, even though I do have it, clearly. So I'll probably play some Unseen Diplomacy or something, because that really uses your space. I've also noticed that seeded games are a lot nicer with this, because you end up with not having that cable wrapping around your chair the whole time. Where's Unseen Diplomacy? there it is. So it wants 4x3, but you know, I reckon I can totally fudge it because I have 3.5 by 3.5, and probably a little more if I didn't have that coffee table there, which I could probably move. But allow crawling, yes. All right, let's start the mission. Clearly, they don't support Knuckles yet, but you know, don't expect that because it's a pretty old game at this point. So this game will actually use your play space by making you do this walk aroundy thing where it sort of makes you think you have a lot more space than you do. What's that? Nope. Gotta hold it apparently. That's a very nice sound. Wait, where do I go? Alright, back. Another light. What am I supposed to do here? I don't know. Can't walk that way. As you can see, even this kind of pushes it. It's probably one of the bottom ones, isn't it? Oh, okay, I grabbed it through the thing. I guess I could. Oh shit. Ah, that doesn't work. I could probably reuse it. Wait, oh. Oh, that was there. Alright. Cool, I guess. I'm not gonna crawl again. Fuck that. Probably just disabled it. Oh, you can stop it with your hand. That's interesting. I'm also fairly unsure if this actually kills me. A rod? Oh. Okay, sure. There we go. Crawling is a little tricky because I gotta basically support myself on my fingers just so I don't rest on my knuckles controllers. Ah, man. Did I just end up at the same spot? No. Cool. Oh shit, Jesus Christ, calm down. Cool. Alright, now what? Elevator. I don't need these, I guess. Different one. that one. I get it. Basically, just do that. Like, if you were doing this on wired, you would definitely be tangled up already. Like crazy, because I went around in circles a couple times. I mean, they might have some system in place to prevent that from happening, but... Okay. Sure. Now what? Oh. I guess I lost? I don't know. Anyway, that's Unseen Diplomacy. Which is interesting, it's basically the only game that properly uses your play space at this time, I think. But my overall impressions of wireless are sort of mixed. Like, it's cool to like be completely free of the wire, but you're clearly sacrificing some stuff if you're not on like the super high-end system. Because I'm on a 1070 graphics card with a 1700X AMD Ryzen chip, which has been known to be causing problems, just like blue screens and stuff. But I haven't run into that, luckily. But overall, it's cool. It's just, it's a lot, man. Like, you're paying 300 to 400 euros in my case for a slightly flawed wireless. Like, it works well, but not like perfectly. And also, it's very much exclusive to the Vive, I think. So if you were to get any future headset, don't expect it to work with this, I think. Right now, there's no headsets, but you know. With the Pimax, for instance, it probably won't work because they have their own proprietary cable, and HTC would have to make like their proprietary cable go into Pimax's, which is like a cooperation that's never happening. It's tricky, man. It's real tricky to recommend this at all. Like, it's a cool experience, but at the same time, I can see people having problems with this, just because it's not a flawless transition from wired to wireless. It's sort of a first generation problem, I think, but it's definitely better than I expected first gen wireless to be. I expected latency and constant issues, but this was fairly seamless. I'm guessing TPCast is basically that. There's a lot more issues with it, so setup is a lot more of a hassle. This is just, you turn it on, it works, which is good. But it is a good system. It's just not sure if it's worth the 300 to 400. But you can basically say that with everything VR. It's slightly above what you'd expect to pay for what you get. Which is sad, but it's the truth right now. So that's my review, I guess, of wireless. It's very cool, but it's also still kind of flawed. And I think I'd have a lot better experience if I had like a super high-end CPU, but I'm not in it for that because I'm a developer, so I'll just roll with sort of okay CPU with some extra cores so I can develop nicer. And like, if I really try, or well, not even really try, if I just look straight up, cuts out like that, because my head has a lot of liquid in it, because I'm human, and liquid does not like 60 gigahertz signals, it just stops it. Or 60 gigahertz signals don't like liquid. So I can see it go into pixels, and if I really try, I can get it to disconnect just by looking up. Which I guess most experiences wouldn't do much for you anyway. But in climbing, I've noticed that I actually look up quite a bit like that. And then I get pixels and stutters, and then it cuts out. So it's, it's very limited in that sense, because you have to really think about where you're going to place it, because it's rather important that it sees it. And I do have it like aimed slightly up right now so that it bounces off my ceiling a little, so that I get extra, because I had it directly at me before, and that would actually cut out way sooner, like right about here. But now I can look up a little higher, and up here is where it's worst probably, which is not as bad as it used to be. But yeah, that's Vive Wireless right now. I wouldn't recommend getting it unless you really, really need it, because, well, it's just not perfect yet. And I think that's about it. It's a cool experience for sure, though. So if you can easily afford it, maybe get it just for laughs. But if you're like a kid who just barely was able to buy a headset from his savings, don't bother with this, honestly. It does also by eliminating the cables, make it a lot nicer to have just in the living room, like I have it here. Because you can basically put the headset in some sort of box or drawer or something, just take it out when you need it and turn it on, and it'll work. Instead of having a wire run through your house or having to disconnect wires every time. So in that sense, it is nice, but there's just, I don't know, you're sacrificing a bunch of stuff. Alright. That'll be the video. Next video, I don't know what I'm going to be about yet. Maybe just some Knuckles footage with something. I did record some Skyrim with Knuckles, but it wasn't very interesting because it was just Skyrim, basically. There's nothing special about using Knuckles in Skyrim. It's just the same shitty control schemes with the menus and stuff and fiddling around. I mean, you have a joystick, which is nice, but other than that, not mind-blowing. So there's that. That probably won't go up because it wasn't interesting. Alright, thanks for watching, guys.